Right, guys, and we are live here on Redpillstation. This is another episode of Stay Woke Weekly. I'm here with At the Office. Thank you guys so much for being on.
No,
Oh,
thank you, thank
man,
you.
yeah, pleasure to be on here.
Cool. We're just gonna kind of just go into kind of an eventful week. A lot of stuff actually happened this week. With just with everything that's happened over in Syria, everything that's been going on. Even kind of a mix with us in China. We have the new gun laws that got written in, and then I don't know if anybody that's over on the west coast, which would be the Bay. If you guys felt that earthquake, 4.7, we're gonna kind of talk about all that. I kind of want to get into these gun laws. And you don't have to say if you're a gun owner or not, but some of us are. This does affect us here in California. So some kind of laws that kind of went in. There was about 15 bills that Gavin Newsom pretty much put into effect that are pretty crazy. I am not too, I'm not too left or right when it comes to it. I'm more right, obviously, if I'm a gun owner. But the fact of the matter is, there's certain gun laws I think that we do need to have, even though it may infringe on the rights. It does. To me, it's like a meeting ground, between the left and the right. So I am aware of, kind of like certain laws. I'll kind of go through here right now. As you can see, these are the kind of just the ones, again, 15 of the bills got signed in, but really these are the ones I think are just kind of the more important ones. AB 1279, which is that $100 limit processing fee that they had for the CC. Now that's kind of been taken off, and it's pretty much at the discretion of the sheriff how much they want to charge. So it really just depends on the county. I think that can affect you in a sense of maybe that county is needing some money. So it could cost a lot to get your CC now. Also, AB 12, I think that's the most important one because all the red flag laws pretty much went from a 1 year confiscation up to a 5 year confiscation of your guns. So somebody, hears that you want to do a shooting or they just want to say or they don't like you and they want to just go and tell the police that, hey, this guy might be a little bit dangerous. Well, they kick you down your door and they can take your guns. So that's kind of scary.
That's wild.
Right? Then we're going off to SB 61, which I'm okay with. It's, you only purchase one firearm per 30 days. You can't buy like a shotgun and a handgun at the same time. Now it's once you buy your shotgun, you have to wait 30 days to buy your handgun or whatever gun you want to get. AB 879, assembly restrictions. So basically, all assembly, anything that you want to buy for the gun has to go through an FFL now. So, and each one of these are going to come in at certain periods, different times. I know that one's not going to come in probably like till 2024, but they're all into effect. I mean, some of them are going to go into effect as quick as January 1st. SB 172, any crimes or misdemeanors related to guns. So, say for instance, you're hiding your gun under your mattress, you get caught with that. Well, that's gun related. Now we can put a block on you for up to 10 years. So, all of these they're pretty serious when it comes to this. Here in California, they're not messing around. Even though they say they're not coming for our guns, they're coming up with these laws that are basically keeping us from either having a gun, getting a gun, or being able to keep our gun. I don't know. How do you guys feel towards that? Like,
I'm mixed bag depending on which one you're referring to.
Yeah.
With the whole $100 limit for the processing of the CCW, which is concealed carry for your weapon. I mean, to me that just seems like if you're in one county and and your sheriff's department is charging $200, but you go ahead and you go 10 miles, depending on where you live, 10 miles to the other county and they're charging $100. I mean, it doesn't really. You can research on who's charging what depending on your county.
right.
Right? Your CCW in the state doesn't go ahead and discriminate on where your county is that you're living. So, I mean, there's always a way around certain things. To me, that's not really. The $100 limit should be the $100 limit. You're kind of putting it, like you said, if your county's hurting for money, they're going to go ahead and try to jack this price up when the next county over may be charging way less.
Right.
So it's just, it depends. Some of them, to me, it makes sense on why they do some of them. Being someone that lives in California, knowing about gun laws, and then hearing about other states and then seeing how lax you can almost say in a sense on their gun control and their gun laws is kind of just eye opening on how strict California can be.
Right.
So it all just depends. For me personally, the one firearm within 30 days. We're in 2019. At this point, anything is possible. We're living in a crazy world right now.
I think they should. I mean, the thing I like about these gun laws, they actually should like start putting some laws towards like drugs, like where people can't use drugs. That'd be perfect, and we wouldn't have drugs. We'd eradicate drugs.
I agree. Focus on that.
Yeah. I'm with you, but I mean, it's a lot easier to go ahead and say that as the government, you can't buy more than one gun legally within 30 days compared to, well, if you get this prescription, you can't take more than one pill per day. There's not really a way to regulate that.
Yeah. And I mean, it's in a sense of overall, like if there's laws obviously against drugs, but that doesn't even work. If you want to get a drug, you can get it.
Yeah.
And that's the point of it. They want to get a gun, they're going to get it. You know what I mean? Criminal's going to create a crime. These are laws for what? A law-abiding citizen.
Right.
That means it's someone that's not going to go and do the thing that you're trying to prevent.
Correct.
That's why it doesn't make sense. Like you can't create a law for bad people because they're the bad people.
Right.
So it blows my mind that it's even a debate. But.
Well, for that one, you got to look at it too. Is that it makes it a stiffer punishment for the people that are breaking the law.
Yeah.
Because if you now, granted that you're a law-abiding citizen, I'm a law-abiding citizen, Warren's a law-abiding citizen, but if you break the law,
He smiled when he said Warren.
There's less likelihood of you, me, or Warren getting in trouble for a gun law, even though they may be stricter.
Yeah.
If you really look at it from a different view, is that if the person over here is not a law-abiding citizen and they get caught, then they're breaking this law. I mean, they're obviously breaking the law, period. But when it comes to being punished and going through the judicial system, going through the judicial system, it just makes it easier.
You can turn it up too.
It makes it easier for them to go ahead and get a longer or more stiffened punishment for breaking the law.
Got it.
So I mean that's what some of the people say. Well, you're stiffening the laws for law-abiding citizens. Yes, but for the people that are breaking the law, it's making it a stiffer punishment because when you break these laws, the punishments are also increasing. If you really look at it. So yeah, for the people that are breaking the law, it's a lot stiffer punishment. So it is to try to go ahead and make it where if you are an offender of these laws or you're a habitual offender, that you're going to get in even more trouble and you're going to get an even stiffer penalty.
Couldn't we just stiffen the punishment? I mean,
yeah, that makes more sense to me.
Yeah, it makes sense to me too, but this is a way to go ahead and try to do gun control, try to go ahead and not have so many issues that we've had, We've had crazy school shootings. You know what I'm saying? So they're trying to go ahead and control as much as they can without trying to infringe or cause that revolution.
right.
The protests.
And Jerry Brown, I mean, he was presented with some of these, laws, and he pulled back on that. You know what I mean? So, I mean, just seeing 15 of these get signed in, that's crazy. What do you think, Warren? Like,
I don't know. To me, most of these laws they're dumb, but it just depends on what side you fall on. Like the example you gave, like if you have a gun under your bed and you get caught, it's like 10-year block. But then again, it's like, what if there's been a recent span of break-ins in your neighborhood? You know what I mean? And this night, somebody breaks into your house. You got your kids, your family sleep in the house, but you got an armed gun under the bed. You pull out the gun and you handle your business. You know what I mean? You protect your family. But, it's illegal. You know what I mean? I mean, you can't do that. You can't have your gun like that.
why not call the police, though?
Well, no, because it takes the police time. But correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
But the law's more so if you are leaving your gun unattended and open, right? Because children
Gotta have
do
ammo
go
and gun
ahead.
separated.
Yeah, you got to have your child or children and the gun separated. I think that's what it's mainly for.
Right, but I mean,
it's not if I go ahead and I sleep with my pistol underneath my pillow, and the police go ahead and come knocking at my door, my gun is supervised because I'm right there supervising. And like I said, correct me if I'm wrong, but this law is more so that if it's due to negligence.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a fine line with negligence. I mean, if I'm asleep and I have a gun under my pillow, I mean, your kid could easily come in and your gun could fall out, fall on the ground, pick up the gun, and be like, "Oh, it's a toy gun," and then start shooting. But you said it's not unattended because you're right there, but you're asleep. Yeah. You know what I mean? So it's a real fine line. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to this subject, it's to me it's crazy where you're supposed to protect your family. You got your weapon here, and then you got your ammunition somewhere else. You know what I mean? And it's just think of, okay, the guy came into my house, he ends up killing my family. If I had my weapon all together under my pillow, I could have protected my family. You know what I mean? Yeah. I could have handled the situation. So I find a lot of these rules, it's just, I see why they're in place, but there's an opposite side that could argue like, okay, I need it this way because of how I live, where I live, what can happen, So I don't know. I mean, I see both ways. I see the government's way of thinking, and then I see, us that's really down here living. I mean, just think if you have a kid going to school, and you got a gun in the car, you got to have your gun unloaded. In the trunk. You got to have your ammunition in the trunk.
Even if you have a CCW.
Right, and you could see an armed kid running into your school ready to shoot, and you got to run to the trunk, got to load a gun, get it all set. Like,
ultimately,
where do you live at?
Right, and I think ultimately it comes to, I guess, I know it sounds weird and too simplistic, but maybe having common sense in the sense like for me, for instance, like if they're both locked, but if something were to happen, it's about a good 20, 30 seconds I can have them together. You know what I mean? You get the key, you unlock it, boom, there's your ammo already ready to go in the clip. Right. Get the other key, boom, unlock it, there's your gun, boom, clip, done. 20 seconds. So just think logically. They're separated, they're locked, they're separated. But now that you can actually boom, 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 just have a plan is what I'm saying probably. Right. You know what I mean? Yeah. That would probably be the best way to do it. But yeah, I don't know, that's crazy. But on other news too, we got I don't know if you guys know what's going on in Syria and in Turkey right now.
Educate us.
So,
please do.
Yes. So pretty much on the last show, we did talk about what's happening in Syria. Mm-hmm. So I won't get too in depth with the pipelines and things like that and why we're going to war, but it's a war that we pretty much don't need to be over there for. We're over there because we're fighting for Saudi Arabia, in my humble opinion, because of the fact that we need to secure the pipelines. So what's happening now is this war has still been going on over there. And this is kind of scary because right now Turkey's actually holding 50 tactical nuclear bombs that the U.S. has over there. I think it's on the border of Turkey, but the U.S. owns those. So Trump made a decision to pull out of there. Now, a lot of people are kind of attacking him for pulling out because he's leaving the Kurds open. Kurds helped us fight against ISIS. And so pretty much Syrian army and Russia, and that's why I'm telling everybody not to worry about the Kurds. They've just made a deal with them. So we're not just leaving them to get slaughtered by Turkey. So think of it this way. Can't really show you a map, but imagine if, for instance, you got this country that's here, right, that's war in Syria, and you have Turkey that's right above. What's happening and what's been happening is that the Kurds have been sending bombers over to Turkey to do suicide bombings and things like that. They've had terrorists go in, and the Kurds have taken the blame for a lot of this stuff. So now that the U.S. has moved out of there, our 50 troops have been taken out, now they're going to go ahead and invade and go after those terrorists. So us pulling out of there, I don't know why we pulled out of there exactly, but I think it's a strategic move because I think we deliberately want Turkey to do something. I know that Trump has tweeted that he's going to take care of the economy, that he's going to tank them just like he did last time. But I really do think that it's a strategic move for what's going on over there. So just think about it like this. It's like I'm talking trash the whole time. I'm pushing this dude. This dude's not attacking me because your big brother's right here, right? So you keep pushing, dude. You keep pushing, dude. And dude's like, I want to hit you so bad, bro, but your brother's right there. All of a sudden, big brother's like, hey, bro, I'm going to take off, bro, so you need to handle your business. Now he's like, dude, what are you doing? Why are you leaving me? Why? Well, you were poking him. You were pushing him. So that's pretty much what's going on with the Kurds there in Syria. So bottom line is we're going to go ahead and move out of there so Turkey can come down. But now Russia's going to get involved, and they're going to, I don't know if they're going to stop them from invading or not. But if that does happen, we could be seeing another escalation in the Middle East. And you know what they've been wanting to do. We've been wanting to have an excuse to send our entire military down there. So I just really hope nothing happens too much to get us involved in another war.
Well,
Just,
I had heard too, that a part of the concern is because there is a lot of ISIS prisoners,
oh yes,
right?
yes, prisoners
That
too.
are in those prisons.
They got freed, by the way.
Yeah, and with us
they got freed.
withdrawing is that they were basically able to be freed, right? So now you're gonna go ahead and the U.S. is withdrawing, and now you have ISIS going ahead and gaining all of these.
And the
soldiers
Kurds
back.
deliberately said, they said actually, like, hey, if you don't, they were
They were the ISIS soldiers.
right. They did. It's weird. It's scary. Just because of the fact that you can kind of see what's unfolding there. Because, again, Bashar al-Assad, which is very strange, the Syrian army is actually gonna support the Kurds now, and Russia is gonna get involved too. I just hope this is where I kind of see where, I guess they say if you see smoke, there's a fire. I think it has a lot to do with those tactical nukes that are there. Because I mean, if they wanted to use those, I mean, I don't know if they have the capability of actually using them. Like if they can actually get in, they're just holding them hostage. So I don't know what that exactly means.
Yeah, that's what my question is. So it's like, why is the U.S. backing out when Turkey is holding the nukes hostage? You know what I mean? Like that's what I don't.
That's why I think they want something to pop off deliberately.
But if the U.S. is withdrawing, right, and we're withdrawing out of here, how did we even plan in the first place to take the nukes with us, or was it the plan to go ahead and leave the nukes there, basically in case something we need to have nukes over there for whatever reason we have access to them? Like, was there any plan for the U.S. to go ahead and take them, or we're just going to leave them there and hey, we're going to stash these here?
They've always
until
wanted
we
them
need to
there
use
because it's more of a strategic thing. Because
Yeah,
of the
yeah,
fact that
yeah.
we go to war with Russia, we go to war with Syria, any of those countries. Well, our nukes are right there. They're close. They're
They're
tactical
launching
nukes.
points, yeah.
Right. They don't have to go into space. They can just shoot those straight at them.
Correct.
So it's interesting. I just don't know if they have capabilities to use them. I don't know if the U.S. was going to do anything beyond just having them there at any given time. It is kind of strange that they were there in Turkey, out of all places, because it's always flip-flop with Turkey. It really is. Where they're friends, where they're enemies. And it's the same with Russia. They shot down a Russian plane. I thought that was World War III, and that happened like 4 years ago. And they shot down that plane, and I thought, wow, it's going down, but nothing happened. And after that, Russia and Turkey were friends. So it's weird. It's very, very strange what's happening over there. So hopefully we don't see nothing crazy happen from there. Because, yeah, that's one big concern I've always had is another war.
Right.
And tactical nukes, in my opinion, I don't see like a big nuclear war happening. I don't think that the world wants that. But in terms of tactical nukes, just blowing up a city here and there, I could see that definitely happening. You know what I mean?
That's scary though in itself.
Yeah, but I
That's
mean,
scary.
at the end of the day, nobody really would want it to come to that point. You don't want, because if you think about it, for Russia, your capitals are going to go ahead and be the ones that are going to be affected. For the United States, Washington D.C. has to be at the top of the list, right? So you really think about it. I mean, taking a nuclear tactical outlook on it, it's not going to be good for anybody.
No.
Because
Not
if
at all.
you go ahead and if Russia sends theirs over here, we're sending ours over there, and then they're triggering, it's just going to be a chain reaction.
One thing leads to another.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Because if you go ahead and it's almost like a fight, if you get in a fight and then someone tries to go ahead and jump in for you, and then I'm going to jump in for you, and then someone tries to jump in for me, and then Warren jumps in, it's just a chain reaction of allies going ahead and people and countries siding with one side or the other.
I always wonder if like countries like Israel and let's get into another podcast, but if countries like Israel and Iran was like, oh, they're doing nukes? Okay, the hell with it. We do it too. Here, I've always wanted to get Israel go. You know what I mean? Also, they'll start.
And you start,
Right.
because we've seen it where like we've been out on certain nights, and one fight will break out, and because one fight's breaking out, another just completely different situation with other people, another fight breaks out,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden it can just turn
Everybody's
into
fighting.
chaos. Yeah.
That's
Just
true.
go time.
It's go time.
go time.
Hopefully it's not in our lifetime.
This
I
dude
don't wanna
smudged
see
my
it.
Puma.
Right.
Hopefully we don't see that. Speaking of shoes, good old Nike. So we got LeBron here. Man, I'm a little irritated with the entire situation. I'm gonna play this just so we can get a good perspective of what was said during this interview. I'll kind of fast forward. I'll break it into parts just so you can see Just so you can see on this one.
We all seen what that did. Not only did for our league, but for all of us in America, for people in China as well.
Dapper.
Sometimes you have to think through things that you say that may cause harm, not only for yourself, but for the majority of people. And I think that's just a fine example of that.
Players thought that they would be punished. Do you think that Daryl shouldn't have been reprimanded for that?
I think that's another situation that should stay behind closed doors. We are to see what happens with any one of our players or with an owner or with a GM at a later date. I think when we all sit back and learn from the situation that happened, understand that what you could tweet or could say, and we all talk about this freedom of speech. Yes, we all do have freedom of speech, but at times there are ramifications for the negative that can happen when you're not thinking about others and you only think about yourself. So I don't believe I don't want to get into a word or sentence feud with Daryl Morey, but I believe he wasn't educated on the situation at hand, and he spoke, and so many people could have been harmed, not only financially but physically, emotionally, spiritually. So
I'm gonna stop it there. Financially, that was key.
Yeah.
So, okay, because I'm really. So if you haven't read Daryl Morey's tweets, he had tweeted "Freedom for China." Okay, and regardless of where you stand or what you know about the situation in Hong Kong, it's when you're saying freedom from China, you're using your freedom of speech, right? You're using your platform to basically practice what our First Amendment is. Here's what blows my mind about LeBron saying stuff like this. There's just so much to say about it. But my opinion overall, and then we'll all just chime in on the opinions real quick. When you're someone who comes out, I don't know if he knows this. I don't know if he would like to retract it. But it's like, bro, you were pro freedom of speech. You were pro Kaepernick. You were pro, and out of nowhere, now because it's China, now you're like, hey, you need to be careful about freedom of speech, and you need to, it could hurt others, and it could hurt. Whoa, 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 whoa. No. Like bro, like it's just disgusting seeing something like that because it's over capitalism, it's over corporations, it's over money.
Hypocritical.
Yeah, very hypocritical. Like, whoa, like yes, I understand, it just blows my mind because, and the flip side of that, by the way, because I'm not completely just saying, slam on LeBron. 'Cause I think, yeah, slam on LeBron. But also to all the conservatives out there, how does it feel? How does it feel when someone affects your freedom of speech? So Kaepernick couldn't take a knee and have freedom of speech? So it goes both ways. You know what I mean? It's crazy to me that people just, don't remember what they took a stance on. You know what I mean? And then on the flip side, how people don't realize what China's doing to our country is what you were doing to Kaepernick. So please understand that as well on both sides of it.
Yeah, that's
what I mean?
True.
That's true.
So
That's a good point.
it's just it just blows my mind that both sides can't see this and that capitalism is winning. Like the corporations are winning. Because it's funny when people say freedom, when they say, oh, freedom for China, because we got freedom here in America. We're not the United States of America. We're the United States corporation. There's no more nations. We are just a corp, okay? We're a corporation. So it's about money, and money talks in this situation, especially in this situation. It really talks. But I don't know.
Yeah. I was disappointed when I heard this, because outside of just taking basketball, being a basketball fan, and being someone that watches the game for so many years, I'm not big on being a LeBron fan as in the game of basketball, but what he does as a philanthropist, what he does outside of the game, he opened up that school in Cleveland. I do support LeBron off the court. So for me to go ahead and see him do this, to me, it was hypocritical, right? Because now, you did go ahead and support. You were a strong advocate, for Trayvon Martin. You were a strong advocate for Kaepernick. You've been a strong voice in these situations, and because now your bottom line is going to be affected, not only on the NBA, but they were actually broadcasting people in China burning his jerseys.
Right.
So, now it's affecting your bottom dollar. And now you want to talk about how freedom of speech, may not be the greatest thing, but that's something that you went ahead and been exercising, with your thoughts and your views.
It affects his profit margin.
It affects his bottom dollar. It affects the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
You talk about LeBron James. This is a name that's known around the world. There's hardly any people in the world that don't know the name LeBron James in one shape or form or another.
Mm-hmm. All them little Chinese kids in that sweatshop ain't gonna be able to make your shoes, bro. Like, it's just crazy to me. Like, what do you think, Ward?
I don't know. I mean, I think he meant it more in a sense of security. I don't think he's really against what he said.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's more looking at it as if, okay, I'm in China. He may have his family in China with him, and then this guy gets on Twitter and he has reckless words. You know what I mean? And so he's not. I mean, we don't know where Maury's at. We don't know if he's here in the United States, and he makes these comments. There's several Americans over there in China, preparing to play a preseason basketball game.
Yeah, this was before I believe they went out there.
Or right,
His initial tweet.
right. You're putting Americans at risk because you don't know what's going to happen when they get there. There was a lot of people, a lot of fans that were angry with this whole situation in China. Like you said, they were burning jerseys. So I think he's not really. The way I see it, I think he's not against the whole freedom of speech. I think he's against how he used it and what was at risk for his family and his coworkers. That's how I think LeBron is taking a whole stance to the whole situation.
Yeah, I think a lot of it was to try to soften the blow, try to appease China a little bit, because China, according to Adam Silver, which is, he's the commissioner of the National Basketball Association. Mm-hmm. There are stories, and there are, it goes both ways, but one story is that Silver is claiming that China officials have reached out to him and told him to fire or discipline Maury for those tweets.
Right.
Wow.
And he has publicly came out, Adam Silver has publicly came out and said, this is what China has asked me to do.
Oh,
and he
wow.
had went ahead and said, no chance. He's like, we're not even going to think about even disciplining this man, let alone fire this dude.
Yeah.
He said without second thought, went ahead
crazy.
and said that.
But
China, China came out and China said, we never asked Adam Silver to do anything like that.
Correct.
So at this point, it's kind of a he said, she said, but
I just don't know why he's bowing down in China. Like, I want to ask him, like, come on, LeBron, there are more black people over there in China. What would our social credit score be over there? How would China treat black people? How would they treat black people?
But
like,
there's
come on.
1 billion people over there.
Yeah.
Well, what's funny is that I was actually watching, I randomly was watching an episode of South Park. I haven't watched South Park in years. And it was an episode.
About China?
So,
I talked about that too. That was
did you
funny.
See that
Yeah,
one when
that
he
was
went
so
over
funny.
there, the dad went over there to try to go ahead and push his business.
What was it
and then
called?
he gets on the plane. So
Say it.
integrity.
Integrity.
Integrity
Stan's
lead.
dad,
Have you watched South Park? So Stan's dad now
just
in
needs
the
integrity.
recent couple years has become. They live in Colorado, recreational marijuana. He becomes a marijuana farmer. Well, he's running a marijuana business, and he gets the bright idea to say, well, there's 1 million people in China. Let me go over there and push my business to China. Let me go try to sell some weed over in China. So he goes ahead and gets on the plane, right? So he gets on the plane, and who's on the plane, Tony? James Harden, LeBron James.
Oh, shoot. I forgot
LeBron
that.
James
Yes,
was
yes.
on the plane, and a whole bunch of Disney characters. It was like Iron Man, Thor, people from the whole.
Because Hollywood bows down them too. Bows
Yeah,
down
and
to
they're
China.
just like, oh, we're over here to try to sell our product to China. We're over here. And at first, it's like this dude, the dad is sitting there, and then two just random businessmen are like, "Oh yeah, I'm trying to break into the China market because of 1 billion people." And all of a sudden, you see LeBron getting on the plane, James Harden, and all these Marvel characters, and then this situation happens, right? So you have a lot bigger profit margin. I think we had talked about it like last week, and just the amount you quoted a number on a contract,
right. So
and I don't let them know because I don't remember. the
Yeah.
number you
So
said.
what I heard was if this whole situation, let's say they backed out before, I believe it was Klay Thompson signed his deal. China backed out their deal with the NBA before Klay Thompson got his deal. They would have shaved them. Removing himself from the NBA would have shaved Klay Thompson's contract. I believe it was anywhere between $5 to $10 million off of what he
per
got.
player around.
Yeah, that's per player. That's just one situation with Klay Thompson. So his contract would have dropped anywhere between $5 to $10 million, and that's one player.
God.
And think about how many players in the
power.
NBA, and you're talking about at least 5 million
That's
in
power.
that ballpark.
That's
That's
scary.
a lot of money.
player.
It's a lot of money.
That's scary.
So you really think about it, like, as a business standpoint, I understand to a certain spectrum of where Adam Silver's at, because you can't be the dude to be in the driver's seat of the NBA and then you just take this huge loss.
Damn.
China's some fertile grounds. Like, are we on in China? Is this show on in China?
Oh, it
Can be.
they'll ban it if it is. Like, well, just like Winnie the Pooh, they will ban it.
Oh, yeah. And that was funny because they actually touched on that too, because the dad was in jail, and then all of a sudden you just
Bro, that killed me, dude. When he goes, I don't remember what it was, but he whispered something in the darkness, bro, and I don't remember. I couldn't stop laughing.
is anybody there?
Oh, that's not the part that made me laugh. Did he kill Piglet? What did he do?
Yeah. In the alleyway. Yeah.
No, when he killed Winnie the Pooh.
And yeah, he killed them both in the alleyway.
Oh my God.
Because the dad got him free. Because the dad is trying to go ahead and make some money moves and business moves in China.
I forgot what was said, but it was just so funny how it was said. Like, I smell honey, and all of a sudden, stay quiet, and it's just like choked him. Oh my God, I gotta watch that scene. I forgot what he said. Oh, and by the way, just to let you guys know, coming up this Wednesday is hashtag Pronouns Day. So everybody use your pronouns. They, and what? How many pronouns are there? God, I can't use pronouns right now. Are there? They, them. I can't think of them right now, but
There and there.
Yeah. Use your pronouns. Don't use he and she. Okay. Now, don't want to get into the. Yes, I do want to get into it. You know what?
Yes, you do.
Let me play this. Police chief actually has a good little explanation of it.
Today is International Pronouns Day, which is a day particularly important to people who identify as transgender or gender non-conforming. Being misgendered can have a huge impact on somebody and their personal well-being. It also can be used as a form of abuse for somebody, and that just isn't right. Today is about raising awareness, getting people to have conversations, and understanding why it is so important to understand the pronouns that somebody wishes to be used for them. Have a good day.
One more. Hold on. One more, because we got a lot to say on this. Because I can't no more with them, man. It's.
You got to take it easy, big fella.
I mean, what's next? What's next? Because honestly, it's getting to the area where, well, if I say I'm this, then that's what I am. If I'm a dragon, I'm a dragon. Okay? I like Khaleesi. Dude, I'm tired of it.
I
That
want
they can
Khaleesi
just
to
say,
ride me.
like, they can literally say what they want, and it is what it is, what they say. No, that's getting ridiculous. It's getting to the realm of fantasy. Okay, anyway, you got to see this.
Hey, Dad. I think I got my period. Let me help you.
Oh, thanks.
Sorry.
bro.
I'm a period.
Me too.
Oh, damn. Where'd you find this at?
Now, I mean, now it's just an ad. You know what I mean? To kind of, I guess, make you understand. But, bro, this whole era of just like, you could say this and you could do that. I'm sorry. And you know what's crazy? I'm for the trans that actually like they do the job. You know what I mean? The job. Like when you do that to me, I'm like, hey, yes, ma'am, you or she to me. Good, damn, that's some commitment. You know what I mean? But if you just put the wig on and I don't know, man. Like I'm just like, you gotta. Hey, sir, it's ma'am. No, you're a sir to me. You got a penis, you're sir. You got to chop it off. I don't know. That's just how I feel towards it. I'm not gonna use the pronoun. I'm gonna say what you are. That's just me. Sorry. How do you feel about that?
To me, I mean, if you're not sensitive towards this subject, then you're a bad person. So that's how I feel like everybody's looked at. So, I mean, I respect. I mean, it's I don't know. It's hard. This is a hard topic to talk about because to me, I feel like you are what you're born. You know, I mean, I understand people go through life. You know, you may have changes, and you know, you feel like you identify with this group compared to that group. But it's I don't know. It's a tough topic to tackle. To be honest, I mean.
Yeah.
It's tough, man.
I did
It's
read one
tough.
story though, because again, I try to look at both sides of it, and I don't remember what documentary it was, but it actually touched me where the little girl, the whole time kept saying, you know, no, I'm a boy, like I'm a boy, I'm a boy. She kept telling the parents that they always had pink for her, they always, you know, had her around dolls and gave her girly stuff, but she kept like, no, I'm a boy, I like man stuff, I'm a boy. Little girl kept saying that. What broke my heart was when the girl was like 7 or 8 years old, and she said, you know, I can't wait till my mommy and daddy are like finally gone. So, and what she meant by gone was like dead. So that way I can be who I am. And I was like, ooh, like that's like that got me. I was like, okay.
It's a sensitive subject because you know people identify and they look at themselves in certain lights, right? You know, a 7-year-old girl saying that, okay, I like to go ahead and I like Batman, or you know, I'm into, you know, sports or whatever else it may be. You know, that to me is a little bit different compared to when you're older.
Right.
You know, I mean, when I was growing up, yeah, I back in the day, and this may not be PC anymore, but I knew Tom girls. You know, I knew girls that loved to play football and loved to be in the physical activities with the boys.
Right.
Right, and there was nothing wrong with that.
Nothing. Yeah.
You know, I remember when I played football, I was in like the third or fourth grade, and we actually had a girl, and these were pads. This was full contact pads, helmet, thigh pads, knee pads, cleats, the whole thing. And we had a girl that wanted to play football. So, you know, I grew up around that stuff. That stuff's not different to me, but it was never an issue of her saying, well, I identify as a boy. No, you're just a girl that wanted to play sports. Like, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
You know, it's a very sensitive subject because
Super sensitive.
I will never understand what someone that's in that situation goes through.
I think it's weird when I think the part that is when you're pushing it on what you said it good earlier, when you're pushing it on the kid, like how they're doing this drag queen stuff at schools and stuff where you're
You should
pushing it
look
on
up.
them.
So there was an interesting video I watched, and you should pull it up. It's Pierce Morgan going in on this dude who where they're talking about these 100 different types of genders that are out there, and he actually went ahead and he made almost a comment of, you know, will identify as a pansexual, penguin, this, that, and the other, you know, and the guy was like, well, you can't identify as that. And Pierce Morgan is like, why can't I? Why can't I? According to you, because I think over across the pond, they were going ahead and they actually did a video where this older lady, she had to be in her 30s or 40s, was trying to explain to these younger children, maybe 5th grade at the very most, that there's 100 different genders out there, and the kids are looking confused. And Pierce Morgan took issue with it, and I want to say it was Pierce Morgan, took issue with it because he was saying, no, I'm a father. Now you're telling my children that there's over 100 different genders out there.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah,
You know,
that's a touchy situation.
And that's why I just like,
Yeah.
and it's touchy because not because we're being insensitive to them. I think both sides are being insensitive to us. That's my child in school.
Yeah.
And when you're growing up, you're not around your child 24/7.
Correct.
And
Oh,
they
yeah.
could be influenced by that in the sense
Correct.
that, and I say this because, who knows? We could all have been gay. I don't know. And I'm nothing against anybody that's transsexual or gay or bi. I think it's awesome. It's cool. Like, whatever. But when it's my child, that's my child. And it's living with me. So don't edge him or her to one way or the other.
Right.
Like, you know what I
let
mean?
them be who they are.
And
Right.
let them be who they are. And I know people will say, well, it's a social construct. You're creating social constructs with giving your daughter pink or giving your son blue and this and that. No, that's my preference. These walls are white because that's my preference. You know what I mean? It's pink just because I like pink and like pink on her. You know what I mean? It's just what it is. That's my preference for my child. Now, if my child goes, I like, my daughter were to say, hey, I like blue, not the pink. It switches to blue. I don't care. Cool. It's blue now. I'm not going to, you know what I mean? But I'm not going to edge it blue as in boy, as in penis, as in... You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to, put stuff in their head, which is what they're doing to the kids, by putting little things into their heads.
Right.
Because, like I said, I grew up, bro. I saw there was no man in the house. So I would watch my mom shave her legs and put makeup on and do all. So I did it because I thought I was supposed
I
to.
agree.
You know what I mean? I was like, oh,
I
shit,
live in
I
the
got to.
same scenario.
I want to look good too. You know what I mean? I didn't know no better. I didn't know that. No, that's wrong. That's gay. You know what I mean?
You spot
Shoot.
on. You spot on with that one.
Right. So it's
Spot on.
like, dude, you're
Yeah,
it's
but-
influencing so
I mean,
much. on the kids.
I didn't grow up with a father in the house like that either. You know what I'm saying? But for me, it was never like, oh, I got to put makeup on or I got to do. I did observe my mom. My mom was a single mother who tried to raise me and my sister the best that she could.
Right.
So I never had my father around for the most part. He was around. He was in and out. But for me, it was mostly me witnessing my mother, right? But to me, the whole thing is don't push. I'm not pushing my son. If my son were to tell me tomorrow that he's A, B, or C, I love you the same.
Right.
But I'm not going to ever, because you see the horror stories and you hear the horror stories of these dads or these mothers that hear that their child is not what they want them to be.
Right.
So they go ahead and they,
Where'd I go wrong?
yeah, that type of situation, or they take it out on the child because of whatever, whatever the case may be. But it's just, it's sad because, like I said, we will never understand what someone in that situation goes through.
Yeah.
I mean,
I personally have a
You're-
different belief in the sense that I
you're-
think Uncle kind of got too close and did something, but I'm saying.
you're a product of your environment. Truly,
Yeah.
you truly are. And I mean, my story kind of relates mostly to yours, Tony. I grew up with my dad passed away when I was younger, so I really didn't have a father figure within the house. So I was kind of like you. I would see my mom put on makeup, shave her legs, and I'm just like, is this some of the type of stuff that I should be doing?
Right.
And
Yeah.
I kind of grasped more to like my uncles, and that's how I found my way. But
I found anime.
my older brother, he's older than me, and I mean he hasn't came out, but I've had like there's questions about his sexuality. Like personally, I think my brother is I think he is gay. I never seen him with a woman. He's older than me. He's never brought a woman around the house. Never brought a woman around the family. Never seen him date anybody.
Man, he's just keeping it real
So-
player. That's why.
He's been out of town with like my daughter's mom, and she came out and she was just like,
Interesting. We know someone that's like that too.
He's gay. She's like how he operates away from the family. But it's interesting because if we could start all over, I would like to see how he would turn out if my dad was in the house. Because growing up, just me, him, and my mom, he's seen the same thing I seen. Me, he doesn't like sports. He likes to dance. He likes to do all this other type of things. Me, I'm like heavily into sports. And like I said, I grasped onto my uncles that was heavily into sports. And he didn't. So, like I said, if we were to start all over, I would love to see which way he would have went with my dad in the house. So.
Well, they try to say a lot of it though is genetics.
Yeah, I hear that a lot too.
A lot of it I hear because
Are there gay animals in the animal kingdom?
That's a good question.
That is a good question.
That's a hell of a good question.
I ain't never seen. You could tell male lion. I ain't seen both of them like getting it on. Like,
I think there has been
I
studies
I think there have been monkeys too.
Yes.
Primates.
Yes.
That have went ahead and have those tendencies as well.
Yeah.
but do they know it? You know what I mean? Maybe they just think it's. Like,
I mean, monkeys are smart, man. Primates are smart.
Dogs be humping everything.
I don't think I've ever seen a boy dog humping a boy dog.
Oh, I've seen that. My dog.
Well,
my dog tried
establish
humping
dominance,
me.
yeah.
I'm a man,
Yeah, to establish dominance, yeah.
No, I think they do know it because I've heard of stories of like two male primates raising kids. You know,
I guess it's in genetics, right?
Yeah.
Too.
Oh yeah, I think it's like heavily within penguins.
I could never tell a male penguin and a female penguin getting in.
Well, I mean, they
I kind of want to see that sex. Like.
But going back to like what this video was showing.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, man.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Like I just.
I don't even know how to interpret that. Seriously, I don't.
I don't either.
I don't.
I don't.
I don't know. I don't.
That's what I mean. You're a young kid and you're seeing stuff like that, and it's like you're already kind of like life is a bunch of questions,
comes at you
and now
fast.
you're throwing all this crazy shit that adults should be thinking about.
Yeah.
This is crazy.
Yeah, you should leave children, and I wish you would pull up that Piers Morgan interview he did on.
You said Piers
It was
Morgan?
almost like Good Morning America type BBC. Yeah, he really got on the dude really hard about Penguin, Penguin. He really got on the dude so hard. It was like, well, I identify as this. Yes, it's that top one.
Oh, do you know exactly where it's at in here?
I couldn't tell you. I just seen a brief clip.
Well, I transitioned from male to female, but I've never referred to myself as transgender, and if I did,
Yeah, I would say, ma'am. It's actually kind of pretty. Like, damn. Okay, that's cool.
To identify as a woman, so you're a cisgendered woman, I would say.
And that's because of my physical
That's because
femaleness.
you identify with how you. What am I? Well, I assume you're a cisgendered.
I'm not a cis anything.
If I may assume.
I'm not a cis anything.
Well,
I'm just a man.
But no, but you're a cisgendered man.
No, I'm not cisgendered anything.
But hang on.
What does cis mean?
Well, that means that you were born the way that you identify
No,
now.
I'm just born a man.
But someone who transitions.
Why are you insisting on calling me something I'm not?
Well, you can refer to yourself as just a man if you like. But
Most people identify as male or female, man or woman.
that's right, the vast majority of people. But that doesn't mean that there aren't other people who identify differently.
There are
lots
100
of
different
other
genders on this BBC list, apparently. Right? One of them is two-spirit person, polygender, pangender, neutroid, intergender.
I have to say,
gender
you know what?
He even jams up the dude.
Right. Well, luckily we have the world expert here. What is any of this?
Look, don't ask me to list off.
What's a two-spirit person?
I think that's someone who identifies with their native background into their gender.
Do you not think this is just like a vibe that somebody's having? Like when you tick a list, male or female, doing your passport or something, is this not just, this is just how they are? This is just a bit of a
Do
vibe.
you know what a porogender is?
I know, they're very sorry.
He jams him up.
Support what the BBC's doing. By the way, this is the public
Is that what it
broadcaster.
is?
No, I don't know.
The public broadcaster paid for by us with a license fee is now instructing children. There are 100 genders they can identify as.
Why are you instructing children? That's my point.
Half of these are.
But hang on, ignorance isn't a defense.
You're the ignorant one, and you're the one defending it.
Well, Piers, you're the one that doesn't know what it is as well, of course.
I'm about to tell you.
Do you know what?
Aporogender is a fairly new word stemming from the Greek apor, meaning separate. Aporogender is an umbrella term meaning a gender separate from male, female, and anything in between, while still having a very strong and specific gendered feeling. That latter part is key, then distinguishing it from agender.
That's
What
so
does that
sad. To,
mean? Well, that means that someone identifies differently to you, and that's what is at the
No, no,
heart.
no. Can you explain what
That's just the
apologender
personality,
is, which
isn't
is
it?
one of the 100 genders that kids now have to be? What is it?
Well, hang on, it's not it's not university challenge.
I just told you what it is.
No, but this is for children, Benjamin.
Right.
This is what my problem with it.
When I was a
think
child.
it is university level.
Yeah.
For us to get our heads around 100 different gender identities, and I think Nicole makes a really good point. It's about personality,
Yeah,
isn't it?
it's just their thing. If I was sat in, I mean, I spent my whole childhood watching the animals of Farthing Wood. You know, you're impressionable. You know, you've got to be careful. I
But you
did
didn't
think I was
identify-
no, but I thought I was a squirrel. I thought I was going to grow up and be surrounded in a tree, surrounded by nuts. You know,
Benjamin, what is neutroids?
But, oh, come on, are we going to go through all 100?
Do you know any of them?
I need to know.
do you know any of them?
No offense, you go on national television to defend the BBC telling kids there are 100 genders. I'm now reading out a number of these 100 genders. A, you've never heard of them. B, you've no idea what they are. But C, you want to encourage the BBC to instruct our kids that they should be one of these genders.
But that isn't the point. The fact is,
That is the point.
the fact is that
That is
people
the point.
identify in different ways. And when you get bogged down by the idea that children might know that they're different, that they might be helped to understand why they're different, that the teachers teaching them might be prepared with the apparatus to explain it to them, that is a good thing. So you,
100
I think
different
that's
ways.
surely.
Do you know what neutroids is?
You might find it strange and unusual, and we might not be able to answer what every one of the 100 is. But that doesn't
He
mean
doesn't
that
know
they
any of
don't exist. Well, I suspect you picked the
No,
two most
officially,
I haven't heard of
there's an A to B list.
Yeah.
I'm just picking them around
You have things
So
like,
far, I've picked 3 that you have no idea what they are. Do you know what neutroids is?
tell me.
Well, have a stab. Have a stab.
Well, okay, I don't know.
Imagine you're a 9-year-old kid and the BBC's told you to be one of these. So what's neutroids?
Well, no, that's not what would happen. What would happen is the kid would say how they're feeling.
Here's what
and the
neutroids is.
The
So
teacher might
you
be
want to tell a
prepared
9?
explain
Have
it.
you got any kids?
No, I don't.
Okay, I've got 4 kids, right, including 3 boys, right? So I'm just trying to imagine a conversation with my 3 when they were 9, and my daughter's nearly 9 as well. She's 7.5, right? Neutroids, someone with a null or neutral gender being neither male nor female, and in some cases a person who may also seek to reduce signs of their physical sex, right? Neutroids.
Which is
I
absolutely
still don't know what it
fine
is.
if
Yeah.
That's their vibe.
Right.
We should
But
be
wait
teaching
until he
children
starts saying
well, that's
something about him
awful.
being,
We
you know,
should
he
be
wants to.
teaching children to just
Pierce wants to
let
go ahead and
let
choose
have
his.
their own vibe. I keep saying vibe. I'm not a
What is wrong with just being male, female, or trans?
And just have your
That's it.
personality.
In other words, 3 things. You're male or female, or you identify as something else, right?
But there are
What we
lots of
don't do
something
is have
else.
these
That's the
100
thing.
ridiculous terms that even you, the world expert on gender, has no idea what any
Yeah.
of them are.
I would-
I consider myself to be an expert through experience on transition.
And you've never
I
heard
don't
of
have
these.
a
I mean, I feel like a bit like Diane Abbott being tested all these details here. I'm not saying
Yeah,
that I can
actually,
know
you
all
sound a bit like Diane Abbott, because she never knows what she's talking about either.
But-
So this is my point. You're not on charge of your brief,
I don't
Betty.
know how we switched to having a go at Diane Abbott in this conversation.
Well, actually, I think the truth is that kids identify in different ways. And the real thing that we should be focused on here
What's the
is-
job of a parent and a school teacher with a child?
It's to make them feel comfortable in who they are.
Or
And
to
do you know
offer
what?
them, or to
Here's-
let me throw you something at you. Having been a parent of 4 kids, and I'm not using that as a stick against you, right? I just happen to have had 4 kids. And I believe the job of a parent is actually to navigate them through life, which is difficult,
Yeah.
but actually to keep things relatively simple.
And to let the child know that they can come and talk to their parents if they feel a bit different.
And I know if you start telling
Without
kids
it
there's
being a
100
whole
different
big
ways of identifying,
palaver.
most kids will reach a stage where just to be mischievous and to play up a bit, they'll all say, Dad, I'm neutroids today, right?
No
That's what you want
shit.
to do. I'm telling you.
This is what we have as a society of grown kids just saying this shit.
Be encouraged to do it by the BBC.
Raise your child
They
in a
will do
house
it.
where they know they can talk to you if they, if they feel differently, and there are things that we can do to help them adapt in life.
Let's
The
not-
whole world shouldn't adapt.
Hundred. You don't,
Personality.
you don't agree that there are 100
Let me get a word in.
gender identities.
Well, I
Right.
agree that
There shouldn't be, especially when you have laws that are created that we then have to adhere it to when it comes to male, female, and our kids do. It needs to stay male, female. And the trans thing, I think to help them, for female, I would just call her female. You know what I mean? I think she wants that anyways.
You're calling me a cis man. I'm a man.
I'm still saying she, even though I know it was a he. No, it's a she to me. No, she did a good job.
But I feel
She.
insulted and offended that you're calling me a cis man.
It's a pretty girl.
Well,
You see how this works? But when you get to the
Once had a penis one time.
business,
Big deal.
when you get to the events business where everyone
Even better for the guy. No birth control. Jesus.
Actually, I'm offended by you calling me a cis man.
And it is actually used as an insult when people are called cis.
Well, I was.
As soon as you
I'm
start
being called a sissy right now, and I don't like it, Benjamin.
as soon as you box people into identities, it splits people off from each other, doesn't it?
Why is this all happening now?
I think it gives people a sense of who they are, and I don't accept you to promote this. You know, I learned about World War II for several years at school, but I'm yet to think invading Poland is a good idea. You can't convince someone.
Wait, what?
There's a penguin at the Sea Life Aquarium in London that is currently being reared gender neutral. Apparently has gay parents, right?
I have nothing to say on this subject.
Well, hang on, let me just say this. Can I, under this new world of self-identification, as I did earlier, now identify as a two-spirit neutroid penguin?
Well, you're not a penguin because geez, but
Why? Why? Who says I'm not?
Well, I mean,
Who says
that's
I'm not?
a thing that happens. This is the distinction. People do identify.
I'm actually a
as gender.
two-spirit neutroid pangender penguin. And how
They
dare
don't-
you?
people don't
How dare you tell me I can't identify as that? How dare you offend me?
Well, you can a baby is a penguin.
See how it works, Benjamin? There I am. That's me as a
Can you
penguin.
see how it gets to a point where people can make it ridiculous?
Well,
That she just said it. Perfect. Do you see how ridiculous this is?
Common sense, Benjamin.
They gotta be careful though.
They haven't identified as a penguin.
We've been male and female for 200,000 years.
But we
I don't
have
understand
to.
why all this is. Well, we have, and
Actually,
we've
we have,
evolved in that.
Benjamin. We have.
This,
What
what's the
has
opposite
risen
of
in the
evolution?
last 2 or 3 decades, we've had a large number of people transgendering, quite rightly, as our wonderful guest has today.
And it's fine.
They have my complete respect. What this does is actually makes, I think, people who have transgendered, it makes them figures of fun. It exposes them to needless mockery. It makes the whole thing look ridiculous. And actually, the real victims tend to be people who have transgendered and have to put up with this nonsense.
No, I don't think.
That was perfect. That was perfect.
To me, that's perfect because at that point, you're taking someone like the person on the left that has
Went through all that.
went through the process, and now identifies as a woman.
Mm-hmm.
And now you have someone that says, "Well, I'm now a pansexual, two-spirited." You know, however.
It's almost like making it a joke now.
Yeah, you're discrediting, and you're lightening what their struggle and what their journey that they went through.
I don't think you can say that for everybody though. I think they got to be careful because I think there is kids out there with real issues and they feel like they don't identify with anything. They find something like this and they really identify with it, and then they
With one of the 100?
yeah, and then they come forward, they get teased for it, they commit suicide. You know what I'm saying? So it's
But
like
that's happened even before this list of maybe 100 candidates.
yeah, but I
So
mean,
we could save lives
It's
by...
it's kind of insensitive to. I mean, he was really attacking him. You know what I'm saying? Saying pretty much saying the list is it's crazy. You know what I mean? Like, I agree. There's probably a little bit of foolishness to it, but I think there is some real issues going on because kids nowadays go through a ton of stuff. You know what I mean? Like I said, life comes at you fast. You know what I mean? And I really think there's kids out there that like I don't feel like I identify with this or that, and they find something like this and they really latch onto it. You know what I mean? So, and I feel like that's kind of the problem with society today. Like when they come forward, people don't really understand and see what they're dealing with, and then they get bullied. You know what I mean? They kill themselves. You know what I mean? They're depressed. It's
no, and I hear what he's saying because that's actually, as it said, that's actually 100% true in a sense that I think I like to call this a Sodom and Gomorrah effect. Like, I really do feel that with all the technology and everything being so comfortable and all of us being so, for lack of a better word, civilized, not being in the days of hardship and work and the man needing to be the man, the hunter, and the woman needing to stay home and take care of the children while the man goes and hunts and does the hard stuff. I think now us being so comfortable and nice, you see this in movies all the time as it gets higher into the future, whether it's Catching Fire and the Mocking, what was that? I can't even think of the movie. Mockingjay is
I know
the
what you're talking
title
about.
of it, but I forgot the main thing. But
Yeah.
when you look into the future and everyone's all dressed and prissy and all this like, ooh, everybody's, you know what I mean? Like the future, Fifth Element, you saw
Yes.
Chris Tucker, you know, the way he was. And like people in the future, it's just so much comfortableness and so
Yeah.
much that now you're getting into kids being like, I don't identify. You don't identify. Like I would get spanked, whooped, beat. And you shouldn't. We know that's abuse now, but it's just I think there's no escaping it.
Right.
Like as society becomes higher and higher and more civilized and better technology and more comfortableness, it just automatically goes into that Sodom and Gomorrah, like, well, I'm gonna be this or I'm gonna be this
Correct.
sexual, and everyone's gonna have sex with
Correct.
everybody, and everyone's gonna intermingle, and it's gonna be madness and craziness like back in the days of Sodom and Gomorrah.
Correct.
Like it just is.
But it's like that now.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
When
It's
you-
only gonna
I
get
mean,
worse.
You don't even need to go into the future. You can go into yesterday, and it was like that. Everybody having sex with everybody. You know, it just depends on your preference.
Right. And it's you know what I mean? When I say the word worse, now I'm demeaning it. You know what I mean by saying it is bad to be this. But I mean, that's just where we're just going to end up going. I mean, think about it. There are aliens with imagine aliens come down here and they're cats or something, or they're dogs, or there's some other crazy shit. We're gonna come up with 100 different genders for them too, and we're all gonna intermingle and all this crazy sex and all this crazy orgy and all this crazy everything, bro. We're gonna have all this, bro. It's gonna be nuts. It's gonna be just one giant orgy of people, aliens, and words.
It's
That's what we're gonna
it's
have.
gonna look like Zion in the Matrix.
that's
Yeah.
funny, man.
Oh, worse than that, bro. It's gonna, dude. It's gonna be nuts. That's just where we're going. Everyone's too damn comfortable. That's why you got people that just grow up in this perfect little suburban house that just have time to think because they're comfortable.
Yeah.
They don't go out and play in the dirt and build a tree house and fall from it and almost die and realize that life's precious. Nah, bro. They sit there inside their rooms and they're all just, I'm emo or this or that, and I'm gonna cut myself,
That's
and I don't
true.
know, bro. It's just like
Society's too open.
it's just everyone's getting so comfortable, man. It's just that's just what's happening, I think. But
I just to try to the way that I feel with trying to explain 100 different gender identities to a 9-year-old.
It's definitely exaggerated.
Far-fetched,
It's exaggerated.
right? Like the lady had a very good point to say, have your child grow up in a household where if they feel a certain way, have them feel comfortable to come talk to the parents. You know, this is how I feel, or you know, this is what I identify. Because I'm not gonna lie.
because were we letting the kids identify themselves outside of what they are? Because that's a big decision. We can't even let these kids decide their bedtime. Now they're gonna decide what gender?
But if you have a child that comes to you and say, well, you know, this is kind of how I feel or how I'm feeling, we as adults may look
I'm gonna
at it
steer that
as
shit the other direction. You know what I mean? We are.
It's a case by case.
But if she's strongly about it, then I'm like,
Yeah.
Or
Well,
you
it's a
may,
case
you
by
know,
case.
some people may take it as a nod and just say, okay, it's a phase or it's a case by case. You know, but to me, as long as you have your child comfortable and feeling secure with being able to come and have that open dialogue and conversation with you, you know, let them go ahead and be who they are. Don't go ahead and have a teacher try to tell them.
That's where I was gonna say is I would say, me personally, who put
not
that
a
shit in
te-
your head?
That's not really.
Who
yeah,
put that
that's
in your
not-
head?
Right.
That's not a teacher's job. We grew up with sex education,
Yeah.
but sex education, at least for me, was wrap it up. You're gonna learn about the diseases and the consequences
Yeah, they show
if
that
you're
nasty little soggy penis. I was like, oh, I remember that.
multiple different diagrams of things to try to go ahead and make sure that you practice safe sex, right? I understand that.
Right.
But when you start talking about 100 different gender identities, right? Let this child grow up to be who they are. Don't force anything or give them any ideas, because if they naturally feel this way, if I go ahead and I identify as X, Y, and Z, or I identify as number 57 on this list of 100, I'm gonna go ahead and tell you that I identify that naturally, and I don't need you to tell me and list off 100 different genders, because at this point it's like, okay, well, which one do you feel like? Do you feel like this? Do you feel like that? Do you feel like this? No, the person is gonna feel the way that they feel because that's them naturally.
Yeah, I guess so. Damn. Sodom and Gomorrah. Cool. All right, guys. Well, it's all the time we pretty much have today. We are gonna probably start doing these on Saturdays or Sundays more often. Just because, and every week, we were gonna skip one week on SWW though because we're gonna be having our Halloween special, guys. So
I'm ready.
yeah, that's gonna be awesome. We're gonna talk about all the paranormal, everything paranormal, from women in the white dress. Mexican cultures call it Llorona. These other cultures call them different things. We're gonna be talking about clowns. We're gonna be talking about my favorite, which is black-eyed children, because I feel like I will have run-in with them fools, and it's gonna be nasty both ways. And that's pretty much it. So I can't wait. I'm excited for that. We're going to have a lot of people out. We're going to be outside. It's going to be campfires, so it'll be awesome, guys. But thank you guys so much at the office for being here. Guys, make sure if you can, go to at the office on Instagram. It's real at the office on Instagram. And please subscribe to the YouTube as well, guys. Other than that, and hit notifications. This is Red Pill Station. Stay woke weekly. Thank you so much for taking the Red Pill, guys. And I'm signing off.
Good night.
Night.